Welcome to PRAWA Radio on the program Tax and Finance Matters. And on the episode today, we'll be talking about why the solutions have not been provided. Why have all these problems not been nipped in the bud? The last episode, we talked about the problems of knowledge gap, problems of non-availability of a bank statement to the MDAs for preparation of financial statements. So today, I still have with me as a guest Dr. Yahaya Sule, the managing partner of Yahaya Sule & Co. Thank you, Doctor. You're welcome.
You're welcome, madam. Thank you very much for it.
Thank you. So, on the last episode, we talked about the problems. Today, I would like you to give us more insight on why the government and all stakeholders have not been able to nip the problems in the bud.
It is simple and known by everybody who is sincere to know. These problems, they are more about conflict of interest. Because of the way the system is designed, where government have to do so much is trying to train people to work on their objective. The problem of conflict of interest with these people is that nobody is committed to make sure that the society is good, that there is a production. Everywhere you see, employ somebody, particularly in government sensitive position, you see the person living larger than what it should be. And government see all this. And who are these people doing it? Why it is so difficult is that these are the people you still complain this abnormality to, particularly people who are professional, who want to be committed. Because of the level of frustration they see in making all this complaint, you find out that they will work hard and they'll be weak. Now, I remember in my days with Zenith Bank, we had taught what is customer service. I think one of the one David Freematu, he quoted, and I said, our customer champion person, Tina Vukokashi, he told us that for there to be excellent customer service, that is to be optimal production, there must be sincere commitment from the top management. Who is the top management? Presidency and the National Assembly. And the other segment is the judiciary and the judges. What do we see? It's not a story to be told because we have to discuss this. We discuss it till death. We'll still be discussing it. And I believe the stakeholders should wake up and take the business of Nigerians serious because Nigeria is so blessed to the extent that nobody is meant to suffer. I remember when I was growing up, in my primary school, I have foreigners that taught me, which came from Asia. And in my secondary school, I have foreigners that taught me. In Our Lady of Fatima, we have Mr. Ahmad, we have Quresh, we have Reverend Father Grace, an Irishman.
Yes, I had a couple of them too.
And we have Pajek, he was taking us biology and all that.
Yes.
And that time, things were good because of the value of what has happened. It's still this mismanagement and not committed to what is the Nigeria project. If the people in the sensitive position are committed by control, I think even the way the system is structured, you find out that you have an entity, say a ministry, say a department or an agency. The chief executive officer is responsible for employing the internal control person or the person in internal audit who checks them. And he's also responsible for promoting the person, and he's also responsible to fire the person.
So there is no independence.
There's no independence.
Because internal control and compliance must have some level of independence.
Then the external auditor, which is the Auditor General's office, what do they do? Are they there? And I think I wrote a letter to the president there in 2015. He didn't see the end of the day. And I made a recommendation in that letter. All the problems I listed there from the example I saw when I had a consulting work with a very sensitive federal government agency that is in charge of revenue collection. They just do memorandum accounting, no complete record.
One leg.
And the way they ask you to check collection and remittance, they will give you one leg to check. And in that exercise, they expected each consultant not to be able to get more than 20 million maximum of the fraction that you get from interest and penalty for violation of the agreement. So when I did mine, I got over 2 billion. The records are there.
That's a lot.
And they decided to fire me. And they tried, because of the knowledge. When we say knowledge is power, when they do anything and write them, they were afraid. And they paid me, and they couldn't pay me completely. When the thing was getting hot, somebody approached me from behind that I've worked hard. And they are still owing me today. You see, you can compare 2 billion to 20 million and see what is happening in the system. Even at that time, they've even subtracted me.
So, Doctor, you can imagine how much 2 billion can do in Nigeria of today. The number of maybe public health centers that can be maintained, the number of correctional centers that can be maintained, the number of
infrastructures
that can be attended to.
I want to tell you that without doubt, there's high level of hemorrhage of public funds, diversion of public funds to wrong quarters. And these things are known. Who will you tell? From bottom to bottom, at the level of doing this, they are committed to it more than the purpose for which they are employed.
Okay, so we are trying to say now that it is a case of reporting the issues to the perpetrators.
Yes.
You report an issue to the perpetrators themselves.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. So that is why the problem of Nigerian corruption
continue to linger.
It's not only continue to linger, it becomes as if it is endemic innate in the. So the system must be corrected. And it's so terrible that you find that the people who are supposed to, maybe some colleagues in same profession who you are supposed to discuss professionally with, they will want to tag you that you don't understand.
Too loud, or you're becoming a rebel.
You don't, like a rebel. For instance, you should do the romance. I think so. Some of us, we have contribution to make
the romance
in genuine, but we don't have room to make it. In this year, in April, the thing has so touched me that I have to write the Minister of Finance a letter, 5-page letter, itemizing problems, causes, symptoms, solutions, what to be done. But I've not even gotten a response. I equally did another one to the chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Services because there are problems. All these problems are not what I should be saying in public, so that, the way the country is, it's possible that you don't know who is your enemy. We see what is happening. You have to be careful. You have to be wise. But we are ready. I'm not prepared to leave this country. I'm ready to contribute to ensure that the area of my specialization, I put in my best. It's not what we need. It's government commitment, particularly at the executive and the legislative level. That letter I wrote to the minister, I sent a copy
to the National Assembly.
I sent a copy to the President of Senate, a copy to his office, and also a copy to the Speaker. I didn't get response from any of them. I have not had anything since April this year. So what do? If you do too much, in fact, to even submit this letter, you will go through some challenges. So I think what we do is that it's not something we solve one day. It's just for government to show commitment. I know there are a lot of people who are ready to work with them, but the government focus is different from what they tell the public in action.
In action. Government focus is different from what they tell people in action. So, thank you very much for listening to this program. And we will be winding up now for another episode next week, where we'll be talking about the solution. We have identified the problems, and we have identified the reason why the problems continue. But by next week, we will be talking about the possible solutions to this problem. Thank you for listening.
All the spark you need to light up the movement. This is PRAWA Radio.